It is said that we are people of a story. And in the season of Advent leading us to Christmas, we hear that story year after year. And perhaps you're like me, each time you hear that story, you might hear something anew. Something you didn't hear in the many times you've heard it before. We are people of stories. Stories speak to us. They speak to our heads. They speak to our hearts. A story is able to offer to us wisdom in ways that simple preaching words don't often convey the message. We are a people of a story, and Advent is a season of stories. 'Twas the season of Advent, and all through the city the people were anxious and stressed. The scene was not pretty. 21 shopping days left, neon signs proclaimed. Advent was passing as quickly as it came. It was on to this scene that I found myself saying once more, I'm buying no more stuff. But I confess the promise was short-lived. For you know, for her nephews, there isn't anything Aunt Mary-Beth wouldn't give. For the twins had told her at a friend's birthday celebration, amidst the balloons, the cake, and decorations, there was one special gift. It was the greatest of hits, a whoopee cushion to surprise the unsuspecting who sit. It's almost Christmas, Auntie MB. Can we have one of our own? What could I say? They looked so forlorn. Please, 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 my nephews pleaded and pleaded. We wouldn't ask if we really, really didn't need it. Then thinking to myself, I could make their Christmas just perfect, we headed out to buy this toy so terrific. And so it was with my two nephews, the crowds and the fuss. I found myself standing in a place called Toys R Us. 2 whoopee cushions were found. The price? Just right. The problem? The lineups were simply out of sight. While over store speakers, Christmas carols were played, with messages of peace made flesh in a babe. But there in the lineups, there was not much hope. Faces were not peaceful. The people just couldn't cope. The pressure, the stress of the whole Advent season had caused each to forget its meaning and reason. It was then, like John the Baptist, disturbing the crowds, my nephews proclaimed something awfully loud. For you see, when I just hadn't been looking, they had opened their packages and out came 2 whoopee cushions. Now there they sat among the shopping carts, over and over making the noises of... I was shocked. I was horrified, embarrassed, ashamed. I prayed and I prayed they wouldn't call out my name. They played and they played, they played and they played. Now many will say their actions were outrageous. But let me tell you one thing, joy is contagious. For true joy can transform the hardest of hearts True joy that day brought peace to those pushing their carts. I do confess my nephews caused me to turn pink, yet I give thanks that my nephews also caused me to think. To think of the Advent message, to ponder its meaning, that tends to get lost in our stress, our buying and cleaning. For Christ is not found in the bills we accrue. The Christ is not found in our do. For Christ can't be bought with cash or debit. Christ can't be put on hold with layaway credit. God does not come in power or might. God is not impressed by our fancy LED lights. For God's message goes unheard when we're too busy to listen. God weeps in the face of our greed and division. This season is not about magazine picture perfect. Its meaning is not found in gifts, however terrific. Christ comes without ribbons. Christ comes without tags. Christ comes without packages, boxes, or bags. For the true meaning of this season can't be ordered online or seen on TV. The true meaning of this season is God made flesh in you and in me. When the laughter of children fills us with joy, when we celebrate the holy in each girl and each boy, when we catch a glimpse of Isaiah's vision of a world at peace without all our friction, when war is no more and captives are freed, when the hungry are fed and none are in need, when the powerful gather and enemies embrace, when we care for each other and the whole human race, when we open our hearts, our hands, and our eyes, and hear Christ calling in neighbors and strangers' cries, when our acts of care, kindness, justice, and inclusion remind others that Advent is a time for God's revolution, and when those of us who complain we have too much stuff share our abundance with those who have barely enough, when we challenge one another and the way that things are, when we live in the light of a single bright star, when we honor our God, born flesh in a stable, when we serve our God the best we are able, then Christ will come and God's vision too, and we will have played our part in a world transformed and made new. For lions will lie with the lambs, and peace will dwell in our land, and a little child will lead us, and little children will lead us.
Jesus.